mowers, and the hand lever was a dumb idea. Because it was. The engine in the back of this mower is a Kawasaki V-twin of a displacement that I couldn't be bothered to look up, and it produces 24 horsepower. I had the choice of either this or a Kohler engine, and I chose the Kawasaki because, I don't know, what difference does it make? Okay, I did look it up. It's 726 cc's, and I was wrong. It produces 23 horsepower. So it's 3 less than the Trabant, not 2. Nestled under the seat and a thick layer of dirt is the gas tank. I think it's about 6 gallons. Also, the 12-volt battery lives under here. Very interesting, I know. Right here is a cup holder in case you want to drink something infused with grass clippings. Over here is the panel where you have your throttle, your choke, your PTO engagement, which is electric, your key, and your hour meter. Apparently I put 62.9 hours on it, or in metric, 62.9 hours. These are the drive control levers that control the forward and backward motion of each respective drive wheel. And this is the foot pedal for the uppy downy of the mower deck. Now, one thing I do find infuriating is that I bought the Raptor SD over the standard Raptor because the standard Raptor, as I remember, had a hand lever to raise it and lower the mower deck, and I thought it seemed silly to have a hand lever because that means you have to take your hands off of the drive control levers to raise and lower the mower deck. Well, I chose this foot pedal switch, not realizing that I still have to move this thing, which is a catch, to lower the mower deck. So you still have to take your hands off of the drive control. Just make it a push latch or something. I don't have to take my hand off of the steering control to lower the mower deck. It's silly. I should be all with my foot. I'm complaining way too much about this. Okay, I'll go sit in the corner now. You can control how far down the mower deck goes by this pin that goes in different slots. Quite a simple mechanism. Each drive wheel is driven hydrostatically, and the hydrostatic pumps are belt driven off of the engine, and the mower deck, as I mentioned, is 54 inches wide, which means 3 different mower blades. And that's pretty much it, really. It's a lawnmower. Now, let me tell you about some things that mildly annoy me before getting to the one really big thing that annoys me. I know I just whined about this, but I'll repeat it again. I should not have to take my hands off of the hand controls to raise and lower the mower deck. And the only thing I have to do with my hand is to flip this catch up a little bit. So here's the solution I came up with. This is a linear solenoid. If you apply 12 volts of power to it, it applies a magnetic field to this coil, and the piston goes out. My idea is simply to add that solenoid to this catch so that when power is applied to it, it pushes out on the catch, and put the button to apply power to that solenoid on the end of this drive control lever here. So when you want to lower the mower deck, you just push down on the foot pedal, hit the button on the end of the drive control. That's a big spider. I'm going to kill that. Excuse me. Sorry, that needed my attention. Where was I? You push your foot pedal. Oh, yeah. Hit the button on the end of the drive control lever so it kicks in on that catch, and then release the foot pedal and lower the mower deck down without ever taking your hands off the drive control levers. Hustler, if you're listening, that idea is free. You can have it. I may even do that mod myself on this mower. Although I'm lazy, so I probably won't get around to it. This one bothered me excessively for very little reason. These little springs here that hold up the seat and keep it all bouncy were rubbing with the metal rail here, and to keep the paint from rubbing off and the rust starting, I put these little Velcro strips here. So these springs would rub on the Velcro strips instead of rubbing the paint off the metal. As you may be able to see down here, these drive control levers are connected to dampers to smoothen out their movement a bit. Well, the damper in this drive control arm came unscrewed after a whole 2 weeks of owning this thing, and it's kind of hard to reach and screw it in place, so I just dealt with it for 2 years. Fun fact, my grandma also has a
I'm actually reading this on your books and just doing speed reading. It looks like Legacy's going cuckoo.
Why does this keep happening, Hustler? I don't know. But anyway, I can do fun dance moves with this lawnmower now because the damper is unscrewed. Way down there is the oil drain for the engine and the oil filter. Just below that plate, all that stuff is right above, are the drive belts for the hydrostatic pumps that drive the drive wheel. Now, the instructions say you should be very careful not to leak any oil below that plate, but it's almost unavoidable. You have to take an oil filter off, and oil's going to get everywhere. And even if you stick a hose onto that oil drain there, you're still going to get oil everywhere. And oil will inevitably drip down under the drive belt, and you'll have a slipping drive wheel for a long while until the oil wears off the belt. It's a stupid design, and I don't like it.
Hi, this lady. with a big crunch and totally different flavor. They're not really Pringles. Just like that's not really Daddy.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Pringles wavy. Big crunch, big flavor. At Diana Stellar's 80 loved Popeye's Wicked Shrimp, and she sang about it.
It's so good. And it's jealous too. All I gotta do is dip it and pop it. Dip it and pop it.
Get Popeye's new Wicked Shrimp with a biscuit inside for just $5. I suspect they put that oil drain right above the plate because there were two completely different engine options for this mower, but I still am mad about it. Now, those are all minor complaints. I know I seem very passionate about it, but that's just because I enjoy complaining. It's one of my favorite hobbies. So when I get to complain endlessly, well, I get very passionate. Anyway, but what does truly irritate me about this mower is one big thing, and it's, well, it's physics. The drive wheels are too far back, and that causes a number of issues. When you decelerate in a vehicle, the weight transfers forward. On this mower, that means when you decelerate, the weight transfers forward onto the front casters and off of the rear drive wheel. So if you decelerate too aggressively, the drive wheels start slipping, which tears up your yard. So if you want to avoid tearing up your yard, you have to decelerate very slowly, which decreases efficiencies in mowing. If the mower is facing downhill, too much weight transfer is on the front wheels and not enough is on the rear wheel. So if I'm facing downhill, I can't turn, and if I can turn, I'm going to put a big old scuff in the yard doing so because I'll have to pull back on one of the sticks, and one of these wheels is just going to sit there and spin, not get any traction. So what I have accepted that I have to do is if I want to turn around going downhill, I first have to go straight down to the bottom of the hill first, and then I can turn around and come back up it again. Again, decreasing efficiency in mowing. If I am mowing sideways on a hill, there's so much weight ahead of the drive wheels that the front tries to tip into the hill, and at some point it's inevitable that the uphill wheel will lose traction. This happens every single time I mow the ditch in my front yard, and if you're thinking that I should just go up and down the hill, well, first of all, I should be able to mow any path I like, but also if I go up and down this hill, I end up scalping the yard. I have to mow it sideways. And the result of all these traction things added together is that my lawnmower has trained me, and I don't like that. I know that there are certain places in my yard where I cannot go a certain direction, otherwise I will lose control. For instance, if I come around the corner of my shop, I can't turn. I know I cannot turn. In making this video, I tried to turn there by taking it extremely slowly, and I was completely unable to. I just went careening straight down the hill because I have no control over it. And in general, it just means that I'm mowing my yard a lot more slowly than I know I could be, just because I'm trying to take things easily to avoid the wheels slipping, which they will inevitably do. There are spots in my yard where the grass is just all torn up because it's unavoidable that these wheels will slip when I'm trying to maintain control of this stupid mower. So, what do I feel like the solution is to all these physics-related problems? Well, I thought about this a lot, and one of the simpler solutions I came up with, one of the dumber solutions, is to add a bunch of weight to the back behind the frame. That would put more weight behind the drive wheels and just give them more traction in general. But one big downfall to this solution, aside from it looking dumb, is that as it sits right now with no weight hanging off the back, I can make this thing do a wheelie. So if I add weight to the back, going up hills might become a bit of a rollover risk. Now, I think the real solution is to completely reconfigure the zero-turn lawnmower. Put the drive wheels in the middle, right about here, put the main caster in the back, and then make the mower deck independently hinged from the rest of the mower body with its own set of casters out front, which is conveniently exactly how the original Hustler zero-turn mower was set up in 1964. It's also how several Grasshopper mowers are set up. It seems to be, to me, like the superior setup, because if you decelerate, well, if your drive wheels are in front, that means the weight's shifting onto the drive wheel, so they'll slip much less, so you can decelerate quickly, zip around a tree or whatever obstacle, and continue on your way. If you're on the side of a hill, well, there's an equal amount of weight in front and behind the drive wheel, so you don't have a bunch of weight on the front pulling you down into the hill. You have weight in front and behind the drive wheel, so you can continue to mow on the side of hill. If you're going down the hill, you can actually turn because the weight transfer is on the drive wheel. The only downside to this configuration that I can think of is if you're going up a hill, you might slip a bit. But with all the other upsides, I think I could live with that one. So what am I going to do about this lawnmower? Well, probably nothing. Works just fine. Mows my yard, does everything I'd ask of it. I mean, I don't love the thing, but I also don't hate it. Apparently, I just need to complain about it for 10 minutes straight. Like I said, it mows my yard just fine. So I'll probably keep it around for another couple of years. I think eventually I might want to upgrade to either a Ryobi zero-turn lawnmower or some sort of compact tractor with a mower deck underneath it. Now, I'm sure the Ryobi mower would have the same traction downfall, but this one does because it has the same layout, as do 95% of zero-turn mowers on the market. But I feel like you could outweigh those downsides because it's all electric, as I feel like all mowers should be by this point, especially residential lawnmowers. So I might get that. And it costs the same as this one did new, so there's that too. Now, I did have a brief look on the internet to see what the cheapest front mount zero-turn lawnmower was, and it was made by Grasshopper, and it came in at just shy of $9,000. And if I'm going to spend that kind of scratch on a lawnmower, I'd want it to do a little bit more than mow my yard. Hence the compact tractor idea.
Wait, go ahead and use that one?
Vehicle.
Damn, that
sucks. All these traction problems by just going to a lawn tractor style of lawnmower, but I don't like those very much. Zero-turn mower.
Poor Bill, he has to use one of those.
A flawed one is still better than a riding lawnmower style of lawnmower. So I'm just going to keep this around for another couple of years. Thanks for watching. If this is the first video you've ever seen from me, what must you think of me? Go watch the video on that. That's more my typical style. Anyway, I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. That was a strange video. This little blue suppository next to me is a Reliance Robin. It's three-wheeled, made of fiberglass, named after a bird, made in England, mid-engine, single wiper, and it belongs to me. I bought a Reliant Robin. And yes, I have seen that episode of Top Gear, so please don't tell me about it. Oh crap, this is the internet. Now everyone's going to tell me about it.